Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching second part of What If Anbu Naruto Travel Back in Time. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
When Naruto finally caught up with his team, Kakashi told Team 7 that they had the rest of the day off so they could rest up for their task. Naruto let out a sigh and looked at his team. "I'm going to the lake in the forest. Do you guys want to come?" he asked with as much cheer as he could muster. Sasuke didn't move, even when Sakura came up behind him and tried to hug him. He just did what Naruto called the shutter shuffle. He shook his head and then moved quickly, scuffing his feet on the ground. Sasuke said after a short pause. Sakura chimed, "I'll go if Sasuke goes." This made Sasuke move away even more. Sasuke grunted again. Naruto was happy. Naruto thought, maybe I'll get my happy friends back sooner than I thought. As he left his teammates, he hoped they would follow. After walking in quiet the whole way, Naruto thought about how much he and Sasuke had helped each other after he stopped saying, "My whole clan is dead, so I must be an avenger." They soon reached the lake. Sasuke, on the other hand, thought differently. He asked me to come along. He must want to fight if he did that. Maybe he'll tell me how to get that weird chakra he's been putting out lately. Or maybe it's a trap? And so forth. Sakura was just glad to be near Sasuke, and every time she looked at him, she blushed. Naruto looked back and thought, I hope she gets over that soon. Yes, poor Sakura had to give up her feelings for Sasuke when he ran away to join Sound. She turned her love to the person who was always there for her when she was sad. After about 6 months and a very, very extreme change, she agreed to go out with him. Naruto laughed as he remembered helping to tame the green beast of Konoha. Poor Lee. For 3 days, his face was red. His eyebrows won't grow back because they used a permanent hair remover. Even Sasuke, who was the last one to get married, found someone to love in the end. They must have been the most scary pair in Konoha. Flashback. Naruto whined, "Come on, Sasuke. You're supposed to dance." Neji's team and the Rookie 9 were all in a nightclub. Everyone told Sasuke they were going to a party, but in fact, they were all setting him up. "Yes, Sasuke, you should let loose once in your life," urged Hinata. At that time, Naruto had been married to Hinata for about a year. "I don't dance. That's the point I'm trying to make," said Sasuke. Sasuke had given up on getting even and was now more open with the people he cared about. Naruto rolled his eyes and looked over to see Sakura giving him a sign. Sakura brought Indigo along so that she could set Sasuke up with her. Indigo was a ninja from the Hidden Mist who went to Konoha to become one of the best medic nins. But the problem was that she was as dull as a brick. Naruto grabbed Sasuke by the shoulders, and Sakura grabbed Indigo by the waist. Both of them pushed them over to the chairs, where they now sit next to each other. Sakura looked Indigo in the eyes and said, "Fine, if you're not going to dance, just sit here." Naruto did the same thing to Sasuke. "HN," said Sasuke and Indigo at the same time. When they turned to each other, they both asked, "HNNN." "Grr." They yelled at each other in anger. "HNN?" They both asked in surprise. They seemed to be flirting when they said, "HNNNN." They both said, "You're hot," which made the other person blink. Indigo asked, "Want to go by train?" in a nearly excited voice. "Do I ever?" Sasuke said almost happily. And with that, they both left the club, leaving Sakura, Hinata, and Naruto with their eyes twitching because they were scared. All 3 of them said at the same time, "That was creepy." Sakura said, "We have made a relationship that is tied together by a single word." When Naruto said, "I feel bad for their kids," his 2 friends shook their heads. Hinata said, "If they stare at lava long enough, they will be able to freeze it." "Forget what I said before." I feel bad for the kids who go to school with their kids, Naruto said. Before being pulled back to the dance floor, the three nervously looked at each other. Stop looking back. Naruto was thinking about his past and started laughing out loud. When he came back to reality, he was up to his ankles in water. Sakura and Sasuke looked at him strangely, and Naruto nervously smiled. Sorry, I'm just lost in my memories. Sasuke changed the subject and asked, are we going to fight? Naruto blinked. No. Sasuke asked, then why am I here? So we can get closer as friends and work better as a team? Naruto asked. Sasuke said, I don't need any of that. All I need is power. Naruto sighed as he got out of the water and grabbed 2 rocks and a small plant. Naruto said, you say you want power, but real power comes from friendship and working together. Wow, this seems like deja vu. Sakura blinked. He's getting all deep again. Since he finished, he seems to have changed a lot. Alone, you can only do so much, Naruto said as he dropped one of the stones he had picked up. When it hit the ground, it moved the sand around and made a small hole. He then carefully picked up the stone and tied it to the other stone he had. But if you have help. Naruto dropped the 2 stones tied together a little bit away from the first hole. When they hit the ground, they made a bigger hole than the single stone. Naruto pointed to the holes in the sand and said, you can do a lot more. Sasuke's face showed no emotion. Naruto said, there's nothing wrong with asking for help to get what you want, trying to break through his thick layer of anger. What would you know? You've never had a family. Sasuke growled. A lot more than you think, Naruto said in a calm voice. Yep, definitely deja vu, he said. Yeah, but hopefully it will end the same way, he replied. This got Sasuke's attention. Naruto asked, you do know that I can't beat you in a sparring match, right? This made Sasuke look directly at Naruto and nod. But if Sakura and I work together, I bet we could beat you, Naruto said, emphasizing the word, we. Sasuke yelled, you're on. And jumped back. Naruto turned to Sakura. Naruto told her, we'll attack from different sides. You distract him while I go in and hold him down. Sakura yelled, I can't hurt Sasuke. This made Naruto roll his eyes. Naruto said, if you beat him, he might pay more attention to you. Punish him until he gives in? Hell yeah. Sasuke will have to notice me. Alright, I'll do it, Sakura said after a moment alone with herself. Naruto nodded. I'll leave you with a clone so he won't notice me as easily, Naruto said as he quickly made a clone and jumped off. As Sakura and the clone came at him, Sasuke was too angry to notice this. Sasuke moved around and blocked, but it was hard for him to land any punches. He punched Sakura, but she moved out of the way and hit him back. It hit him, and he probably had a nice black bruise under his eye coming. Before he knew it, Naruto was standing on his back with a kunai to his neck. He was on the ground. He didn't know exactly what had happened, but he knew he had lost a fight. To the very end, and she was even a fangirl. For example, Naruto said as he helped Sasuke stand up. Sasuke mumbled something that was hard to understand. Anyway, do you see what I'm trying to say? Now I'm going to do why I came here in the first place, Naruto said as he took off his jacket. It doesn't matter. No one will ever change the fact that I'm an Avenger. Sasuke half yelled. Naruto gave a shrug. He went over to a big rock to put his things there. When Naruto came back to her wearing nothing but his green boxers, Sakura got a little red. He jumped into the lake and began swimming. It was a salty lake linked to the oceans of the wave country by a river. Even though Sasuke was still angry, it was getting less and less. Sakura was glad that Sasuke was staying close to her. Naruto yelled from the middle of the lake, "You coming in?" Sakura walked a few steps and sat down on a rock, letting the water run over her feet. Sasuke just stood there, thinking about destroying everything. Naruto said to himself, well, that went well, and then he dove to find what he was looking for. He found what he was looking for at the bottom, some very shiny shells and a lot of oysters. He got as many as he could carry, and then he started to come up to the surface. Once his head was up in the air, he swam back to land, where he found Sakura sitting and looking around. When Sasuke came back to reality, he asked, "Shells and clams, Dobi?" Sakura picked up a blue-silver shell and asked, "What are they for?" "This is a gift for Hinata," Naruto said as he picked up a stick. Sasuke looked at the oyster and said, "Oh yeah, what girl wouldn't want clams? First of all, they're oysters, and second, it's what's inside that counts," Naruto said as he popped open an oyster to show a pearl. Sakura turned into a girl right away. She thought about Sasuke giving her a pearl collar, pearl earrings, etc. and said, "Ah, that's so sweet." Sasuke asked, "Why don't you just buy one?" He had already forgotten what had happened before. "I don't have enough money, so I'll just do the next best thing." Peeved. "Who needs love?" Sasuke said, more to himself than to his team. Naruto sighed and turned to see a square rock. He looked at his friends and jabbed his thumb at that rock. Sakura giggled, still thinking, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Sasuke said, "Well, whatever, I'm leaving," and he started to walk away. Sakura yelled as she ran after Sasuke, "Sasuke, wait for me. Will you maybe do something with me?" Naruto yelled, "Hey, don't leave me alone with the totally harmless square rock with eye holes." He looked at that rock and let out a sigh. Naruto asked, "And you would be?" "As if I didn't know already." "It's great that you noticed me. That's exactly what I was hoping for, boss." And with that, the rock went off. When Konohamaru breathed in the smoke, he started to cough and hack. "I cough. Want you to cough. Teach me how to do what you did to the Hokage and Iruka." The kid whined. "On one condition," Naruto said with one eye closed. "Okay, so what?" asked Konohamaru excitedly. "Help me open these oysters so I can get the pearls," Naruto said with a smile. The kid blinked. He was ready to show he could do something hard. After getting what he needed and putting the pearls and shells in a bag on the inside, he started the long process of teaching Konohamaru the sexy no jutsu. It took him a few hours to figure it out. Naruto smiled as he thought about it. Even though he was only 23, this jutsu made it easy for him to sneak into places. Thank God for guys who do bad things. Ebisu showed up after he had mastered the jutsu and Naruto had given him a few talks about why he wanted to be the Hokage. He jumped down from a tree and said, "Ah, there you are, young master." Konohamaru then changed into his version of the sexy no jutsu and said, "You must come back with me right away to keep training." Ebisu got a small nosebleed, blinked, and then went to grab Konohamaru. Naruto made about 30 copies of himself and changed them all. The poor guy flew back with a huge nosebleed. The kid yelled, "Wow, that was amazing, boss," as Naruto walked over to where Ebisu had flown. As he looked at the unconscious man, the fox said, "That was a shame." "Hey, don't want to change history too much." Naruto thought to Kyuubi, "I just want to help the good get here faster." Naruto left the lake quickly and went home to make Hinata's necklaces. When he was done, it was getting dark, so he went out to find her. He didn't have to look for long before he found her. She was in a training area where she was hitting on a stump. He said, "Hey, Hinata." And she jumped. "Oh. Hello, Naruto," she said, blushing. Naruto said with joy, "I've got a surprise for you." Hinata's face turned red all over. Hinata asked, What is it?" in an excited but worried voice. Then Naruto pulled out a small thing that was wrapped in paper. Hinata took it, and when she saw it, she gasped out loud. Naruto said with a smile, "I'm going on a long mission, so now you'll have a piece of me with you." I hope you like it. I made it myself, so it's like I put my heart and soul into it. Naruto had put the pearls between the pieces of shells that were different colors. There were 3 blue pieces of shell at the front. It goes without saying that she lost her voice. She put it on, and as she did, her face turned very red. She could only stutter out, "TT, thank you." "Glad you like it," Naruto said. "Let's do something when I get back, okay?" Hinata nodded, and Naruto turned to leave, but then turned back to face Hinata. This made Hinata blush even more. He moved closer and said, "Almost forgot." Hinata's face was starting to burn as he got closer. As she felt what she had always wanted to feel, a new kind of tomato began to grow. He had given her a kiss. Even though it was on the cheek, she knew that was enough proof. She finally found out that he liked her, too. Naruto then turned and walked away while grinning like a crazy person. When he got home, he was still happy. Hinata, on the other hand, stood there dazed for a while before passing out, still very red. When Naruto got home, he started packing right away. Naruto was slowly coming to the realization that he didn't have half of what he wanted. This made people talk in colorful ways. He just put in everything he needed, some snacks, and a few other things he thought might come in handy. As soon as he finished packing, he went to sleep, which he called happy bliss. He smiled at the sun when he woke up the next morning. He sat up grumbling because he knew he wouldn't be able to sleep anymore. He yawned and said, "Damn sun. It won this round." He took off his clothes, walked into a wall while taking a shower, got dressed, and ate breakfast. After making sure everything was ready, he left. He gave Iruka his key by slipping it through the mail slot and then ran to the village gate to meet the rest of his team. He only had to wait 20 minutes for his team to get there, and Kakashi and Tazuna didn't arrive for another 10. When everyone was there, they talked about a few things before going. The first part of the trip was pretty dull. Naruto was talking about what happened on the mission the last time. He had to laugh at himself for being so stupid. He started to meditate while still walking. Lee had taught him how to do this. Lee also taught him how to sleep while running, which was a skill he was glad to have when he had to move long distances quickly. It didn't last long, though, because he soon heard a rustle in the woods. He laughed as he thought about the brothers of the mist who were demons. He opened his eyes and saw the puddle in the middle of the road. He started to think of something. Naruto told his team, "You guys need to shut up. I have to go to the toilet." "Idiot, don't tell us this." Sakura yelled as she went to punch him in the head. Naruto was going to move out of the way, but he stopped himself. Sakura walked away with a smile when she saw the bump she had caused. Naruto looked at the puddle with a wicked grin and then went to pee. Kakashi was standing behind Naruto and watching him. He felt bad for the guys who were hiding in there, which he knew. He thought, oh well, can't be helped. The Devil Brothers were really angry. They had planned to kill the Junin first, but the kid made them change their minds. They'd first kill this brat. When Naruto started to walk away, the demon brother who had been in the puddle got out, his eye jerking and his face looking crazy. He yelled as his brother jumped out of the tree, "I'll kill you for doing that, you little brat." Naruto put on a face of innocence and then looked at Kakashi. He looked innocent as he asked, "There was a guy in the puddle?" When Kakashi nodded, everyone on his team made faces of disgust. Naruto seemed to be saying, "It's not my fault. It's theirs." He was about to turn around and fight them when he felt the cold metal wrap around his body. Kakashi had never been so worried in his whole life. He felt bad about his kid. Even if he's annoying, people would never stop talking about him if he died. When Kakashi was about to run away, his brothers tightened the chains around him. Naruto's skin was cut by the metal, and blood ran down his arms and onto the ground. The two of them pulled tighter and tighter until the chains were so deep in their skin that they could no longer be seen. When Naruto fell over, the two of them dropped him and he was totally broken. Kakashi yelled out, "Naruto." Sakura yelled, "Naruto," as tears started to form in her eyes. "Idiot." Sasuke yelled out loud and angry, but there was a hint of regret in his voice. "Poor kid." Tizuna gasped. Kakashi shut his eyes and hung his head because he knew he had just lost one of his first students. "No." Someone from behind them said, "He was so young." They looked around. Sasuke's eyes started to move. "Why are we all yelling?" Naruto was confused and asked. Now, they were all feeling different things. Anger, wanting to hit Naruto in the head for making them worry, and wanting to hug him because he was okay. "We thought you had killed yourself." Sakura cried out. "Ah, you care." Naruto said this in a funny way. They all turned back to where they thought Naruto was and heard a loud pop. Naruto, who was hurt, vanished in a puff of smoke. Then, Kakashi chose to attack the Devil Brothers. He knocked them out quickly, tied them up, and then came back. "How did you manage that?" Sakura asked. Naruto whined, "It was just a clone with a different jutsu." Kakashi cocked his head. "Naruto, that clone was very well made." "That clone bled before it went away," he said in a lazy way. "I heard you could do Kage Bunshin, but I don't know what that is." The back of Naruto's head was touched. "It's what I call a chakra bunshin." Naruto said it with joy. "Interesting," Kakashi said before turning to Tizuna. Kakashi said, "We need to know some things from you," which made Tizuna jump. "We need to know if ninjas were attacking other ninjas or if they were going after you." Tizuna sighed and then told them his story and why he had lied. Then, Kakashi told them that the task just got a B rank. And also told them to turn around. But when some people complained, he gave in and let the task go on. Again, they started walking, but this time Naruto was talking about the chakra bunshin. "You said you called it a chakra bunshin, right?" "So that means you made it up," Kakashi said, emphasizing the "you called" part. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, when I learned the Kage Bunshin, I realized that they were solids. This made me think that it would be so cool if they could last as long as I wanted and take more than one hit. So I did just that." Naruto said with a proud smile, "They can even think a little bit on their own, which makes it a lot easier for me to coordinate them. That could be very useful. I'll have to keep an eye out for the hand gestures. Maybe he'll let me make a copy?" Kakashi thought. "I even learned how to make them without using hand seals, so I can do it without the enemy seeing." Naruto said, making Kakashi look unhappy. Damn. Before Zabuza struck them, they only had a short time of peace. The genin were supposed to guard the person building the bridge while Kakashi fought. Everything happened just the way Naruto remembered it. Kakashi was soon trapped inside the ball of water, and Zabuza sent a few clones of water to follow them. Naruto did about 100 Kage Bunshins and hit the water clones with sloppy punches. Sasuke also struck, so Sakura was left to protect Tizuna by herself. When Naruto chose to get rid of the water clone, about half of his other clones had already been defeated. Naruto then ran towards Kakashi, who was yelling at them to run away, and attacked Zabuza with a lot of weapons. Naruto was sure that the only way he could get out of the situation living was to let go of Kakashi. Zabuza did just that. Because of the confusion, he lost so much focus that the water clones that Sasuke and his Bunshins were still fighting went away. Naruto thought to himself, "Got to love it when things go better than planned." Kakashi found the Sharingan as soon as he was freed from the water jail. Then, Kakashi started to do everything Zabuza did. "Can you see what's going to happen?" Zabuza asked, a little scared by how quickly he was copying him. "Why, sure." As he started to copy Zabuza's water dragon, Kakashi said. When the water dragons fought, they sprayed water all over the place. Zabuza went to attack again, but Senbon pins stuck in his neck stopped him. "There's Haku," they said. As Naruto saw him, he thought. I've been keeping an eye on him for a while. I appreciate your help in getting this person, Haku said. Kakashi answered with a nod. Haku then took Zabuza with him and left no sign that they had been there. Kakashi looked like he had no energy left, but they were almost there, so that was a good thing. Once they got to Tezuna's house, Team 7 helped their sensei up the stairs so he could rest. They all had different ideas about what was going on. Sakura was upset that she couldn't do more to help, and Sasuke was angry that the hunter nin was stronger than him. Naruto felt bad that he didn't fight as well as he could have, but Kakashi was just happy that everyone was okay. When they first got there, their sensei was out cold and Tezuna didn't go anywhere, so they didn't do much. Most of the time, Sasuke sulked in a corner while Sakura and Naruto talked to their client's family. But as soon as Kakashi woke up, they went outside to do the tree climbing practice. As Kakashi told Naruto how to do it, he thought, let's see how we can have some fun with this. He then used his crutches to climb up the tree and hung upside down from a branch while using his chakra to stick to the bark. I want you to get to the top of a tree by only using your chakra and channeling into your legs and feet. When it was their turn, Sakura got up on her first try, and Sasuke got up about 2 steps before falling back. Kakashi looked at Naruto with hope. Come on, Naruto. I know chakra control isn't one of your best skills, but... Kakashi took a moment to think. I bet Sasuke can do it easier than you, he said, having heard from Iruka that they were rivals. But I don't wanna. Naruto screamed like a child. Kakashi said, come on, Naruto, as he rubbed his temples. No. I don't want to. Naruto yelled while putting his arms across his chest and pouting. In his mind, he could hear the fox laugh and laugh and laugh. Naruto turned away from Kakashi so that he wouldn't see him smile. Quit being a baby, Dobi, Sasuke said, standing up. I told you I didn't want. Naruto screamed like a child and then stomped away. Kakashi went after him. He didn't need to go very far. Kakashi smacked his head as he found the blonde and said, oh, for the love of. Naruto was in the middle of a river, standing still. On the water's surface. Kakashi complained about stubborn kids who think they know everything. That's great, Naruto, that you can do that. Let's go for a walk on the trees now, Kakashi said. Okay, if he wants to act like a child, I'll treat him like one, she said. Kakashi was very angry. I don't want to, Naruto said simply, turning away again so he wouldn't laugh. Kakashi said, come on, if you get to the top of the tree before Sasuke, you can show him up. No, was the short answer. Fine, ultimate offer. I'll buy you a bowl of Ichiraku ramen when we go back to Konoha, Kakashi promised. Back in the trees, Sakura and Sasuke both started to sweat. They were high enough in the woods to see everything, and they were talking loudly enough that they didn't need to get any closer. Sasuke, do you know of any good, happiness hotels? Sakura asked. If you find one, let me know. We'll send him there and split the cost 50-50, Sasuke said. Nope, won't work. Naruto said happily. Kakashi glared. Fine, we'll have to do things the hard way. Kakashi then went over to Naruto, grabbed him by the back of his shirt collar, and started pulling him back. When Sasuke and Sakura saw the look on Naruto's face, they almost fell out of the trees they were in. He gave Kakashi a hard look when he brought him back. Again, Naruto crossed his arms and sulked. It was the saddest face a person could make. Climb, Kakashi said, annoyed. Kit, if you look closely, you can see how angry he is making his face turn red. This is funnier than when your head got stuck in that tree and you had to take it to the hospital to get it taken out. And with that, Kyuubi laughed so hard he couldn't stop. Why do you always hurt me? That's why I live. Naruto sighed, but no one heard him. But it's so big. Kakashi gave him a death glare. Fine. Naruto cried out. Kakashi moved away from the noise and started poking his ear with his finger. Naruto walked straight up to the tree and climbed to the top like it was nothing. Happy now? Naruto said in an uninterested way. Huh? What? Kakashi blinked and continued to touch his ear. He had to look up the tree. Oh, Naruto, you did a good job. Was that so bad? From up in the tree, Naruto blew Kakashi a raspberry. Kakashi rolled his eaves. Sasuke was mad. No, Sasuke was beyond mad. The fool, the class prankster, the doby. Didn't do as well as him. Give me more strength. These two are getting ahead of me. I won't allow that to happen. I need power so I can finally get revenge for my clan. And many more violent thoughts. Then Naruto just jumped down and landed on the ground without making a sound. Sakura also came down, and both of them looked at Kakashi. Good job. Kakashi said in nervous cheer. Okay, I'm going to help Sasuke now. I'm off. Then he turned into smoke and was gone. He smiled at Sakura and turned to her. So, he started to say, but was hit in the back of the head. Right, I get it. I'm gone, Naruto said as he put his hands up in front of him to defend himself and ran away. Naruto laughed out loud as soon as he was out of earshot. The fox said, I can't believe you actually did that. I didn't think I'd ever be free. Oh well, at least it made me laugh, Naruto sighed. Oh well. Now let's find a good place to destroy, Naruto said as he looked around at the poor trees that couldn't defend themselves. Look, 'tis a time skip. Now that it was getting dark, Sasuke had made it to the top of the tree. He had been climbing for 5 hours to get to the top. He let out a happy sigh. Almost all of his chakra had been used up. He took a few deep breaths as a very big idea hit him. He didn't know how to get down. Without chakra, you couldn't hold on to the tree. Since he couldn't hold on to the tree, he had to climb down the normal way. He was lucky that the tree didn't have many branches to stop his fall to the ground. Sakura was at the base of the tree cheering him on, which both made him happy and annoyed him. He went down slowly to where a wild woman with pink hair was waiting. Naruto had already found a good place to hide most of the mess he had made and was back at the house helping Tsunami cook. Naruto didn't leave any evidence that he had trained by the river, unless you count the big holes filled with branches and mud. Yes, he would never be found out. Dinner was already on the table when Sasuke and Sakura got back. When the two came in, everyone had just sat down to eat. I hope you all like it. It's not much, but at least we won't go hungry. As she sat down at the table, Tsunami said. The food in front of Tazuna seemed to make him smile. Naruto helped me out, and we only used half of the food I thought we'd need. Naruto scratched his head when he heard his name, but he smiled anyway. Everyone but Inari sat down to eat. It doesn't matter. You can't win, but you can be stopped. If you do, it's only for a short time, Inari said while looking down. You'll end up dead just like everyone else. Naruto stopped Inari from leaving when he tried to leave. Until you try, you never know. There won't be any change if you don't fight for it, Naruto said. Inari's eyes started to tear up. Don't cry if you're not happy. It shows you're weak, Naruto said in a soft voice. Then, Inari left quickly. Naruto sighed and went back to his food, which he ate the rest of in quiet. After eating, Naruto went outside to train some more while the other two genin went to sleep and Kakashi talked to Inari. Naruto thought that he would just practice taijutsu so that he wouldn't hurt anyone too much. He finally fell asleep in a small clearing in the middle of the bush. The next morning, all but one member of Team 7 yawned when they woke up. I smell something good. Sakura said, breathing deep. Kakashi nodded and left. On the other side of the room, Sasuke pushed himself up groggily. He left the room to get dressed in another room. When Sasuke went down the stairs, he saw Kakashi, who made him very happy. Naruto is probably out in the forest somewhere, could you go find him and tell him breakfast is almost ready? Kakashi said in a tone that was too happy for early in the day. Fine, Sasuke said in a sad way. He walked out with a frown to find the Dobi. Only 5 minutes of walking later, he found him. There were a few downed trees and others with many holes in them. He looked around and then saw Naruto in the middle of everything. Hey, fool. Wakey wakey, dumbass. Sasuke stared at Naruto as he slept. Well, I did try to be nice, Sasuke told himself. When he heard Naruto growl, Sasuke went to kick him in the side. He looked around and saw a big cat guarding him. Sasuke blinked as the big orange cat curled back up into a ball and went back to sleep right next to Naruto. When Naruto woke up, a bird flew off his nose. When he opened his eyes, Sasuke was looking down at him with an eyebrow raised. Naruto would have run away if he hadn't been caught off guard by the weight on him. He asked himself, what the hell? Naruto noticed that the young tiger got up and walked away when it realized that the heat source would soon be gone. Naruto moved his arm, which made several foxes run away. He sat up in a daze. Naruto, I didn't know you were like that, Sasuke said with a smile. Naruto shooed the animals away from him and said, haha, that's really funny. Dobi? What's up? What's that thing on your head? Huh? Naruto said, feeling something fuzzy on the top of his head. Oh shit. It looks like a fox? Sasuke said, raising an eyebrow. I can probably. Naruto began. Sasuke looked more closely, then smiled. I've always thought your hair was a rat's nest, not a fox's. Sasuke said, poking an ear. Huh? Naruto said. He was speechless. Hey, you idiot, stop hanging out with wild animals. Breakfast is ready, Sasuke said with a snap. Naruto reached up to his head, but he went more towards the middle of his body. He took it in his hands to look at it. The red and white fox yawned and opened its eyes. Naruto began to laugh. A fox. It was just a normal fox sleeping on my head. Naruto laughed and was happy. Well, that's obvious. What did you think it was? Sasuke asked, looking at Naruto strangely. Kyuubi, I take it you did it for me? Not unless there is someone or something else in here with me that knew he was coming. Please do tell if there is. The fox responded sarcastically, I would love the company. Saves me from having to answer a lot of questions. I'm sure you'll find a way to show your appreciation. Naruto looked up at Sasuke, who was looking bored like he usually did. Ha ha, foxes like me, Naruto grinned. Well, at least something does, said Sasuke as he left. Naruto put the fox down on the ground and ran after him. After they ate, Kakashi told them that Tazuna was going to work on the bridge and that they should watch out for anything bad that might happen. Here. Bring these along in case you get tired. As they were getting ready to leave, Tsunami said. She gave each of them a water bottle that looked the same. When Team 7 finally got to the bridge, they saw that there weren't many people there to help build it. Tazuna got to work and started getting people to stay. Naruto took a drink from his water bottle and sighed. Hey. This is sake, not water. I must have picked up the one for the old man. Oh well, I could use a drink, Naruto said to himself as he drank more. Kit, I don't think you should drink too much of that, Kyuubi told him. I can drink 3 or 4 bottles without getting drunk. This stuff smells strong, and besides, your body as a child can't handle that much alcohol. Naruto thought to the fox, that's impossible. Look, you're getting drunk already. Impossible? When we went back, you were still strong because you remembered, and your body remembers what you remember, so it knows what to do. But if you were drunk, you can't remember. Kyuubi said this, hoping Naruto wouldn't drink too much. Hey Naruto, you okay? Sakura asked. Yeah, I guess so, Naruto said as he stumbled a bit on his feet. Too late, sighed the Kyuubi. You look sick, Sakura said. Why don't you lay down? I can watch stuff with Sasuke. Eh? Sasuke, Naruto said, not really getting what he meant. When Kakashi saw Naruto stumbling, he and Sasuke went to see what was going on. Why is he acting like that? Sasuke asked weakly. Ha ha, hey, Sasuke. We should get the group back together. Sing to the girls, that's what they've always liked. Naruto said, putting an arm over Sasuke's shoulder. What are you talking about? Get off, Sasuke said, pushing the blonde away. After you kicked the bookie, the four of us went our separate ways. Couldn't do without you. Naruto said, making sure to stress each phrase. He drank some more of the liquor. Kakashi took the bottle from him, and then his eyes smiled. He'll be fine, he's just drunk. He said it with joy. Griet. Sasuke's eyes rolled. Book it? Does that even make sense? You're drunk. The fox gave a sigh. I drunk not am. Naruto called out. Idiot. Who are you calling stupid? Naruto said, swaying. You for getting drunk. And not just for fun. What's the mission? Naruto said. Naruto, whom are you talking to? Sakura asked. The fox with a lot of fur that lives in my head. Naruto gave a little blink. Right. Sakura said. He didn't see Kakashi's horrified eye widen. Now he said he was going to take control of my body in a sneaky way, so I wouldn't hurt myself. As well. Naruto said, then took a few steps back. Kakashi was freaking out in silence. He just called me a dummy, but I'm smarter than him because my thumbs are separate. Naruto yelled as loud as he could and gave a thumbs up. The genin on Team 7 started to sweat, and Kakashi made a face fault. As Kakashi stood up, he thought, note to self. Tell Naruto not to make fun of the big fox demon who wants to kill us all. Naruto closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, his pupil had a small ring of red around it, but only Kakashi noticed it. Well, I'm going to have a little chat with Naruto about how important it is for teens to drink responsibly. He then took Naruto across the bridge and into the nearby woods. He does mean how important it is for young people not to drink, right? Sakura asked Sasuke a question, but she saw that he was already on his way back to Tazuna. Kakashi had a hold of Naruto Kyuubi's wrist and was trying to stay cool. What are you going to do with Naruto? You're going to use his body to get back at Konoha, aren't you? Kakashi said, trying to hide his fear as he pulled out the Sharingan. Kyuubi cocked his head. He said in a cool voice, I would do that, why? He was surprised by what she said. Why, you won't kill my team, are you? Kakashi said it in the most frightening way possible. No, I am not going to harm, maul, or kill anyone in any way, Kyuubi said, getting angry. The only reason I'm in charge of the gear is because the last time he was drunk, well, let's just say he wasn't allowed to have anything pointy for a while. Kakashi took a deep breath. He was about to ask the question that had been bothering him for 12 years. Why did you attack Konoha when you were young? Kakashi asked, feeling a little bit better. Kyuubi looked him in the eye, which scared him. I was just walking through a forest near your town. I had shrunk so much that I was only as big as a big dog. A few leaf ninja saw me and thought I was sneaking up on the village to attack. They attacked me, and even though I tried to get away, I wasn't quick enough. I thought that if my paws were bigger, I could cover more ground, so I went back to my normal size. The village then sounded the warning. almost everyone I saw was coming after me. So everyone thought I was a threat. I fought back because I wanted everyone to leave me alone. Then, the Hokage came up to me. Who put me in this box? So you didn't just want a bloodbath, Kakashi said, but he was talking more to himself than to the fox. On the defensive could only work for so long. Kakashi nodded. Now that I know the story, I understand, Kakashi said as he put his face guard back down. Thanks to my healing powers, the kid will soon wake up from his drunken stupor, Kyuubi said. Kakashi nodded, still wary of the kitsune. Naruto then knows? Kakashi said. Kyuubi Naruto gave him a look that said, duh, without being said. Has he known for how long? Kakashi's question was serious. The kitsune thought, since he was 12, but I can't really say that. Since, he was 4. Kakashi's eye got bigger in shock. The boy has known all along? And yet. He still. He said, then stopped. How did he learn? Shit, damn, the kid is better at coming up with lies. Well, he fell asleep while trying to open his chakras through meditation, and when he did, he was brought to me, the kitsune said with squinting eyes. Naruto will have to come with me to see the Hokage when we get back. Kyuubi Naruto nodded. Naruto is getting a little less crazy. Kakashi nodded. When Kyuubi Naruto closed his eyes, they were still blue when he opened them again. Great, now I have a hangover, Naruto said with his head held high. He looked up at Kakashi, who seemed a little surprised. Naruto blinked. Can I explain? Or pay for the damage I did? Naruto made a deal. Kakashi gave a nod. That's not it. Why didn't you tell anyone when you found out about the Kyuubi? Naruto hung his head like he was embarrassed. Kyuubi. What did you tell him so that I can add to it and not have 2 different stories? We met for the first time when you were 4 and fell asleep during a mediation exercise. I didn't want the news to get out. When I woke up, I felt relieved because I finally knew why everyone hated me, but I didn't want anyone else to hate me. Kakashi nodded. We'll have to tell the Hokage when we get back to Konoha, Kakashi said in a cool voice. Naruto nodded. Let's go back to the other people now. Back on the bridge, Sakura was trying in vain to get Sasuke to notice her by following him around like a lost dog and talking his ear off. Sasuke was getting irritated, and he was secretly wishing that the dumb blonde would come back soon. Sasuke gave a frustrated sigh and wished that Sakura would leave and go do something else. Not getting the message. Sakura just kept talking. He finally saw Naruto and Kakashi walking back. He let out another sigh, and then he heard laughter? When he turned around, he saw that fog was coming in over the bridge, making it hard for him to see. Kakashi and Naruto ran over, and Kakashi was now in front of his students in the building. HMMPH. So here we are, it's time for a rerun. Zabuza came out of the fog and stood close enough that his shape could be seen in the mist. He yelled as Haku jumped behind Sasuke and Naruto, and this time I won't underestimate those brats. Sasuke went after Haku right away and pushed him back into the fog, away from Kakashi and Zabuza. Sakura. Protect Tazuna. Kakashi yelled as he started to lift his cap and show his Sharingan. Then they started fighting. Sasuke had hit Haku a few times, but Haku was still in the lead. You were quite good. But what I'm about to do will be the last thing you see, Haku said quietly as he made a seal with his hands. Secret Jutsu. Ice mirrors of crystal. Sasuke looked around as several square pieces of ice with a picture of Haku on them rose up. Hey Sasuke! Naruto yelled from the side of the ice that was not frozen. The next thing he knew, Naruto was about 3 inches from his face and right in front of him. Look, I sneaked in here to help. Naruto said happily. Idiot, Sasuke grumbled. Don't be afraid, I'll help. Naruto sort of frowned. Now, while they're not paying attention. Haku thought as he threw a senbon needle at Sasuke, hoping to hit him in the lower back. But as soon as Haku let go of the needle, Sasuke started to stand up. Then the needle hit Sasuke right in the... Sasuke jumped forward because he was in pain, right into Naruto. The two friends met in a bad... what's the word? As soon as they were no longer together, they started to gag and hold their throats. "You son of a bitch!" Naruto cried out. "You jackass!" Sasuke yelled back. "Ick. I thought I was safe from that bad luck because I was sitting in class." Naruto thought about it and spat. "You shouldn't tell anyone about it, because your wife might think you were cheating on her." The fox laughed out loud. Haku found it hard to stay cool and collected as he watched the whole thing. "I can't believe that you just kissed me." Naruto cried out. Haku could no longer take it. The way they looked at him was getting to him. He looked at himself in a mirror. "You're having fun with this, aren't you? You bastard." Haku just had to do it. He couldn't keep his mirrors in order. Naruto had gone back to Sasuke and was holding him by the front collar of his shirt. "This never leaves the dome," Naruto told Sasuke, who could only nod. Haku had no more power over his mirrors. The pictures broke, and the real one fell from the one he was in, which was right above Naruto. Naruto was pushed forward when Haku fell on him. Sasuke fell backwards because he lost his balance. After Naruto got over his shock, he sat up on Sasuke. "You gay bastard!" Both Naruto and Sasuke shouted. "You kissed me again!" Naruto screamed as loud as he could. Naruto looked at Haku, who was laughing and curled up into a ball. "I swear to God I'll beate you to a bloody pulp for this." Naruto," Sasuke said, getting Naruto's attention. Asked Naruto. "Will you get the hell off me?" Sasuke yelled. Then Naruto realized what he and Sasuke were up against. Aagh. Naruto yelled and moved away from Sasuke as he stood up. This made Haku laugh even more. Both of them looked at him. Sasuke's anger kept rising. He saw only red. Literally. "Got some rope?" Naruto asked with his teeth clenched when he saw that Sasuke's Sharingan was on. Sasuke gave Naruto a long rope after he nodded. "You are going to get so much done to you," Naruto yelled as he began tying up the hunter nin. When Sasuke hit the nin in the head, Haku had stopped laughing and was in a daze. Since they heard the first scream, Kakashi, Tazuna, Zabuza, and Sakura had all moved their heads towards where Naruto and Sasuke had run and were listening. No one moved until the shouting stopped. Kakashi looked at Zabuza. Kakashi asked, "Should we check on them?" "Don't talk about something else. Here, we're still fighting. Also, it sounds like they're getting along fine." What the other man said seemed to bother Kakashi a little. Given the situation, it would be smart to be careful with your words. Sakura looked disgusted to the max. She asked herself, "Do I even want to know what poor Sasuke is going through?" She heard a loud, sharp sound. She turned to look at her teacher, who was carrying a blue ball that was lit up. "Chidori!" As he ran at Zabuza, Kakashi screamed. Kakashi yelled, "Chidori!" As he ran at Zabuza. When the Chidori hit, blood flew everywhere. As the light went out, Kakashi could see what he had hit. On Zabuza's shoulder, there was a lot of blood. "You missed your target. Your eye must not be as good as it seemed," Zabuza said as he moved a kunai closer to his neck. Around the two Jonin, there was a lot of stress, anger, and... "Hey, Kakashi-sensei. We tied up the perverted transvestite. Is that okay?" "Well, at least it was." "That jerk always ruins the mood," Zabuza said as he looked in the direction where the kid's voice came from. Sasuke and Naruto ran out of the fog with a big bundle in their hands. Naruto took off Haku's mask, and when Sasuke found out that Haku was a guy, he loved the look on his face. Zabuza was shocked and asked, how could they beat Haku? Oh, that's easy, Naruto said, and then he started grinning like a fool. We made him laugh himself out of the ice mirror, he said with a smile. Except for Sasuke, Naruto, and Haku, everyone made a mistake, but Haku laughed a little. Naruto blinked. Huh? You're still awake? I thought you'd passed out from lack of air when you were having that fit back there, Naruto said, confused. No, I was quite awake, Haku answered. Sasuke looked at a bruise on Haku's cheek and asked, and you still let us do all that to you? Suddenly, Sakura yelled, what the hell were you three doing over there? The three people looked at each other and blinked. What do you mean? Haku asked. Sakura's eye moved slightly. And never mind. Haku was put down next to Sakura by Sasuke and Naruto. Sakura looked very happy. You were just beating him up. That's good, she said to herself, but the others heard her and chose not to ask. I have my reasons for letting you do what you did, Haku said in a dull voice. Naruto looked at Haku with kindness in his eyes. Naruto thought about his first childhood and said to himself, I never really found out why he turned out that way. I should probably stop Kakashi from hurting Zabuza too much too, so he can fight Gatu's army. Then he got a feeling. On the north side of the bridge, Gatu was there, standing in the fog and watching. Before Naruto could ask, the fox said, most likely, he was there the last time. Kakashi was so focused on his fight the last time that he missed the aura, and back then we couldn't feel it unless it was a really big chakra source. Naruto thought in a happy way. Perfect. With that thought in mind, Naruto ran off in the direction he felt the aura, leaving everyone very confused. Zabuza might have a chance if I can find a way to get him to spill his guts earlier than last time, Naruto said happily as he ran to the source. He soon saw that the shapes in the distance were becoming more clear. Soon, he could hear. When that Kakashi kills him, we'll come in and kill the hurt guy, someone said. Did that fool really think Gatu would pay him? This was his plan from the beginning, and Gatu fell right into his trap. Naruto knew that voice was Gatu's because it said, and soon he will be dead. Naruto was happy. That was easier than I thought it would be, he told himself as he tapped a microphone that hung from the collar of his shirt. When he ran away, he left the earpiece on Haku. Hopefully they heard it, and Zabuza will. Naruto smiled even wider as the fog began to clear. When he saw how far he had run in the fog, he laughed. About 10 meters separated him from his team. Gatu said, well, you're not dead yet, are you? The fog lifted, so you must be hurt pretty badly. It doesn't matter, you will die here. He held up a cane, which made his lackeys rush forward. Zabuza looked back briefly, so Sasuke threw a few kunai at him. He put one in each hand and put one in his mouth. He went in, but unlike the last time, he wasn't badly hurt. He hadn't lost all the nerves in his arms yet, but both of them were still badly hurt, so he couldn't do much with them. His arms hung freely as he spun, kicked, and head-butted his way through all of the lackeys on his way to Gatu. He finally caught up with Gatu and hit him over the edge of the bridge again. But Zabuza did not fall over this time. He walked up to Haku, who was still tied up, this time. Naruto went back to his team and kept a close eye on what was going on. Haku, Zabuza started. Haku stared up at the sky. He asked, yes? I want you to live your life the way you choose to. When he heard these words, Haku was surprised. But my life is yours, and all I want to do is serve you, Haku said. Then serve me by living your own life, following your own dreams, and doing what you want, Zabuza said, never looking at the boy. But Haku didn't know what to say. Zabuza then looked the boy in the eye and said, don't be a tool to anyone else anymore. I'll do the same. Goodbye. You'll be happier this way. I'll come back to see you, Zabuza said before he disappeared in a cloud of mist. Only Naruto seemed to hear the last part, and he smiled softly. Naruto asked, "So, what will you do now?" Haku asked, Can you tell me that some of Gatu's men are still alive and coming this way?" Before he knew what Haku had said, Naruto said, "Well, that's a start on thinking on your own." Someone yelled from behind, "You killed our meal ticket." "Aw shit," Naruto muttered. Sasuke saw an arrow fly towards the lackeys, so he turned to see where it came from. The whole village was behind Inari as he stood there. Kakashi used a jutsu to make 20 copies of himself. Everyone watched as the lackeys seemed to get cold feet and ran the other way, yelling, "Ack! We're outnumbered." Haku was tied down, but Sakura cut the ropes, and he was now facing Naruto. Kakashi said, "If you want to, you can come back to Konoha with us." Haku nodded. "Yes, I'd be interested in that." Naruto was happy. "Sorry about tying you up, but it's okay, we can be friends now." The fox said, idiot mode on. As if he were in charge of an attack plane. "Friends?" "Yes, and I'm sorry I made you and your most important person upset," he said. But two very loud shouts of, "That never leaves the ice dome" cut him off. Haku blinked. "But yeah, I'll take your apology," Naruto said. At this point, Inari had already brought the locals to where they were standing. Inari yelled, "You did it, Naruto." "And you as well," Naruto said with a smile. The town walked Team 7 and Haku back to the bridge to say goodbye. Everyone waved goodbye, and Inari cried happy tears as he asked Naruto to promise to come back and see him. Team 7 went home happy on the bridge that was now called the Great Naruto Bridge. Later that days, Team 7 and Haku were still on the road, but it looked like it was taking them less time to get back than it did to get there. Also, it was quiet. Maybe too quiet. Well, unless you count Haku and Kakashi's occasional giggles. And Naruto's occasional use of bad language. Sasuke's death threats every once in a while. And the sounds of a girl in her early teens thinking. Okay, so maybe it wasn't that quiet. Soon, they were back in Konoha, pulling everyone out of their own little worlds and back into the real world. Once Kakashi was back inside, he spoke up. "Naruto, Haku, could you two come with me to see the Hokage?" "And Sasuke, Sakura?" The two looked up. He said, "You're free to go," and then led Haku and Naruto to the Hokage Tower. After only a few minutes of walking, Haku noticed that the locals were staring at them. He gave a small shiver as forgotten memories from the past came back to him. Haku looked at the blonde boy. Naruto saw this and said in a serious voice, "Don't worry. They're staring at me, not you." Haku asked, "Why would they hate you like this? Perhaps he is like me?" Haku was thinking to himself. "Something from my past that I had no control over," Naruto said. Haku nodded in understanding. Kakashi gave a knowing smile. Those two were going to get along great. Soon, they got to the Hokage Tower, where Kakashi went inside to talk to the third Hokage first. Then Naruto went into the Hokage's room and told him the same story he had just told Kakashi. He was even able to make his eyes tear up just enough to make it look real. He had done a great job, so the fox gave him a fake Grammy Award. "So you fell asleep while meditating, were taken to the Kyuubi's prison, and made friends with him," the Hokage said for the 5th time. Naruto nodded and sniffed. "I just didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't want to scare them away," Naruto said. "And the winner of the Best Leading Actor Award is Uzumaki Naruto," said the fox. "I couldn't have done it without years of practice. Thank you so much." Naruto remembered the Kyuubi. "Okay, thank you Kakashi and Naruto. Who would like to come into the village now?" Naruto was then led out of the Hokage's office and told to tell Haku to come in. He was then told to wait in the waiting room. Haku came out after a few minutes, but instead of a mist hat, he was wearing a leaf one. Well, Kakashi said, the Hokage has decided to make Haku a genin. You're going to be the one to show him around, he said with a smile. Naruto nodded. After giving it some thought, Naruto asked, where will he live? Behind the mask, Kakashi's smile seemed to get bigger. Well, it just so happens. Naruto thought, I really don't like the way he talks. There is an open room in the apartment block where you live now. His eye was starting to make that familiar U shape. Naruto blinked. From when? Right beside you. The look on Naruto's face made it look like he was about to start laughing. Naruto almost face faulted. Is that it? I thought we would be tied together or something. I hate it when he does that. Outside, he just smiled big and nodded with a small twitch in his eye. Haku went up to him and smiled, too. As a Konoha shinobi. And as a friend, I will try to do my best. Kakashi told Naruto to take Haku shopping so he could get some things for his new flat. Haku got some money from the Hokage, who was kind enough to do so. Haku bought a bed as his first purchase. Which brings us to today's lesson. Even if you are a very strong shinobi, it takes more than 2 people to get a bed through a door. It was easy to carry it to the flat and get it into the building through the double doors. But how do you get a 300-pound bed up the stairs? Oh no. But Haku's flat door was much tiny. Much smaller. Naruto yelled, God damn it. Get it in there. He was getting more and more angry by the minute. Haku yelled, I can't push any harder without breaking it. He was also angry at the lifeless thing. Naruto yelled, I think it's almost done. Try it from a different angle. NNNN. NRG. GRAA. Gak. Naruto asked, now what? Maybe you could tell me what you two were doing up here? Sakura said as she and Hinata walked up. Hinata spoke up and asked, do you know how that sounded? Well, for her at least. Sakura looked over at the red-faced girl. When she saw that everyone was looking at her, she changed color. Sorry, she mumbled, getting quieter. Everyone did something wrong. Hey, Hinata. Hey, Sakura. What are you doing here? Naruto asked as he peered out of the doorway. Well, I asked Kakashi where Haku went so I could help him get settled, and he told me that this is where he was going to live. Here. Sakura said, giving Haku a plate of cookies. He stood up and said, thank you, before taking them. Naruto asked Haku, haha, so, anyway, where's the bedroom? Because he remembered the bed. 3 doors down the hall and to the left, Haku said in a sad voice. We'll help you, Sakura said happily. Hinata stuttered, I'll help, too, and her face turned red. Naruto was tired and said, okay, this is the last door. Hey, Hinata? Naruto said. Why yes? Hinata said. How about I cook us dinner when we're done here? Naruto asked, making Hinata's face light up. Why yes, I'd like that, she said, squeezing her fingers together. As Sakura started to push, she thought, he's cute when he's not being annoying and bothering me. On the other side, Naruto started to pull. Outside the flat, there was a pop, but no one heard it. A certain Junin with gray hair had come to visit. Sakura, wait a minute. Move. No, don't. You have to push it in from there, Naruto told Kakashi as the door opened. Well, I could get it in if you came over here and gave me a hand, said Sakura. Hinata said, maybe we should all push it in together. At this point, Kakashi was almost sad when he looked at them. You know. Kakashi began, drawing the attention of the other 4. Behind his mask, Kakashi smiled. Did you push that thing through all the other doors? Yes, said everyone. Kakashi smirked under the mask. That thing can be folded in half, you know. Sakura and Naruto both yelled, what? At the top of their lungs. Kakashi walked over to the bed and moved what looked like decorations on each side. He then pushed the middle of the bed, which made it fold in half. Want me to help you get the rest of your things? Kakashi asked, and the fact that everyone was staring at him seemed to make him feel better. Haven't I ever told you to look under the surface? He asked, making a U with his eye. After giving Kakashi a few more looks, Haku, Sakura, and Kakashi went off to get other things for Haku. Hinata was left in charge of Naruto. Not that he cared, though. Hinata grew a new kind of tomato on her face when Naruto brought her into his flat. After looking through his cabinets for a moment, Naruto asked, how does seasoned chicken and rice sound? She nodded, then started to play with her fingers and pucker her lips. Maybe he likes me? Maybe he likes me a lot? More thoughts like this were going through her mind. When the meal was ready, Naruto and Hinata sat down to eat. Hinata kept trying not to do what she had done the last time Naruto cooked for her, making faces that made Naruto smile. Naruto said, you know. Which made Hinata jump in surprise. You should really let loose once in a while. Dig in. Naruto said as he started shoveling food into his mouth like he hadn't eaten in a week. Hinata blinked. She put the plate to her mouth and started eating as fast as Naruto. Wow. I've wanted to do that for a long time. Hinata thought as she set the plate on the table. She looked over at Naruto, who was smiling. This made Hinata blush, as it always did. Naruto said with joy, now that's the girl I love. Hinata blinked. LL love? She finally managed to say. He loves me. Was the last thing she thought before she died. Naruto was speechless. Well, that was unexpected, he told himself. Oh well, at least she ate first. Naruto then started to wash the dishes. When he was finished, he looked out the window and saw that it was already late. He gently smiled as he picked up Hinata and put her on the couch. She was asleep. He went to get her a blanket and put it over her. He then got a piece of paper and wrote her a note telling her that if she woke up and got up to leave, she could wake him up if she wanted to. Kyuubi, if she wakes up, can you? Don't be afraid. Naruto yawned and said, thanks. He went to get changed and then went to bed.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.